Here we go then. F1, my team is back. Round number 1 of season number 1. We are here at Bahrain and we're going to start off a brand new season of career mode action. So guys, if you haven't seen the pre-season video, there's going to be all the information, the calendar, livery, teammate, all that stuff. Link in the top right. Go check it out. I'll leave the video on screen as well. There's a lot of information in there. We're not going to cover it in this one. We're going to get straight into the action and get to the point, because that's what the previous video is for. So if you want to go check out and see what happens in that one, also the kind of terms and how we're going to run this season, the R&D points, all that stuff, go check it out in that previous video. Now guys, before we jump into this one, if you are new, we are very close now to 100,000 subs, guys. Over half the people that watch my videos are not subscribed. If you want to help me out, please hit the red subscribe button. I want to try and reach 100,000 subs this year, hopefully with this series behind me and with you guys behind me. So hopefully you enjoy it. Anyway, let's get to it. We get to emails. Chris giving us a welcome to the team on top of a bunch of other emails which we're going to have to go through. Now, we're also going to get the introduction to him in the laptop, in the garage, in the paddock in a moment. So let's see what Chris has to say.
Hey, I'm Chris, your primary advisor for all things R&D related. It's a pleasure to meet you. You'll find your workstation is all set up with everything you need to track the progress of your car. But if you have any other questions, don't hesitate to ask. Good luck.
Thank you very much, Chris, and hopefully we can have a good season. Now then, here we go. Forecast for the Bahrain Grand Prix, as you'd expect in the desert, is dry. We look at the performance chart, which we did briefly touch on in the last episode, and we do have an upgrade on the way, but it's going to arrive at Jeddah, not for this race. So it seems like no big changes, and for the most part this is going to be our starting point for the performance. You can see we have that small minor chassis update on the way, which is going to be for some weight reduction, also some drag reduction, so that's going to help us out quite a bit. But yeah, into practice for the first time, driving our brand new car and livery, which again, I mentioned before, is temporary. There will be changes progressively as the season goes on. Also, you guys are going to ask for camera settings, which I know always happens, so on screen I'll leave a video linked in the top right, guys, to the settings I'm using for this exact career mode. My camera settings and my wall settings are exactly the same as that video I link in the top right, so go check that one out. But yeah, practice went very smooth. The car actually feels surprisingly good. Tyre wear, very good signs, and fuel consumption is about 20 kilos, actually no, about 15 kilos heavier than what I was running in the McLaren Return to Glory. So that's going to take a little bit of an adaptation process. Anyway, now practice pace, genuinely pretty good. We actually had some decent pace underneath us. P15 on a set of mediums. However, Liam Lawson is a little bit slow, and not just that, he doesn't pick up a lot of R&D points. So that's going to be a bit of an issue on reduced R&D, but that's part of what you guys voted for. It's going to be part of the challenge, and we're going to have to get through that hopefully throughout the season. Now, as for Liam, he'll get better as the year goes on, but we can hopefully help him with some facility upgrades in the sim to try and get him a bit better overall. So it's going to be a growing process. We're going to take a bit of time to develop and get better. But yeah, practice went pretty smooth, and we got also some discounts. We try not to use the engine too much if possible, but that's going to be highly unlikely in the first season pretty much, as we try to develop the car as much as possible. Now we're going to jump into qualifying and we're going to see exactly what we're looking at pace wise. You just saw we got P15 in practice, so that's going to be maybe a bit of a preview, or maybe something we can aim for in this session. So the target is to try and get out of Q1. I'm not expecting it to be the case, but hopefully we can make it work and we can pull off a bit of a surprise. As you saw, we are the second bottom team, just ahead of AlphaTauri, so anything out of Q1 really is going to be a bonus. And also, just to remind you, it's now 22 cars on this grid, not 20, so the bottom 6 go out, not the bottom 5. So bear that in mind as we go P5 on our first time lap, a 129.599, which was a genuine surprise considering it wasn't a great lap. There was a few mistakes in there, like the hairpin at turn 10. You can see we are currently safe by about a tenth and a half. So obviously we're going to go again and look to improve, but P11 heading onto the final run is actually quite encouraging, to the point where we are going to go just for 2 runs in this one. I hope to save a set of tyres, so we'll see how it goes. Turn 1 then, braking at the 100-meter ball down to 3rd gear. The apex isn't critical for this track. You can still have good lap time without hitting the apex as long as you get a good exit, which is exactly what we do. Turn 4, brake at the curb down to 3rd gear. Be smooth on the throttle, short shift if necessary. We have a bit of a moment, but we keep the speed going, and we find 2.5 tenths in the first sector, making our way down the hill, down to the turn 8 hairpin. 3rd gear again, a bit like turn 1, the apex isn't, obligatory. Turn 9, which feeds into turn 10. This is where we made a mistake last time. We're going to brake a little bit earlier, get the nose into the corner, and get the drive and the exit. And we're now 4 tenths up at the stage of the lap. And you can see cars have actually crossed the line and finished their lap. So right now, I think we're into Q2 as it stands already. I think our previous lap was good enough. I could be wrong, or maybe everyone's starting laps now. Either way, we need to improve. And currently, you can see we're finding even more time as we're up by nearly half a second. So let's see, making our way into the final corner. We're going to hit the brakes at the white line, smooth on the power, up to the start finish. What a lap, half a second up. Wait for the DRS, and it's going to be a 29.0 P6. And I think now the rest are actually going to finish their laps now. And we're through into Q2 in 8th place. Easy, comfortably, with some margin. Liam Lawson, I can tell you, finished P22 with a 5th place grid drop. So Liam has work to do, so we're going to be carrying the load in this first season, possibly first part of the season. Either way, now looking at that lap, there's no reason why we could not maybe challenge for Q3. Now for Q2, I went out on a used set of tyres and we made some similar mistakes. So turn 4, turn 10.
Less than 1 lap of fuel left now, the tank's pretty much empty.
We then went back to the garage and we're 8th place right now with that used set of tyres, and we're about 2 tenths off our Q1 lap time. So there's going to be improvements, so that even though it's P8, it's not really super realistic, but the fact is that was a used tyre. So now we're on a fresh soft and we're going to look to try and just iron out those mistakes, bottoming out turn 4, running wide at turn 10, and hopefully we'll get a decent lap together. So
30 seconds left in the session.
So turn 1, braking at the 100, getting the car stopped. Again, apex isn't critical, but get the exit, which is exactly what we did. And you can see we converted that time into advantage. And now turn 4, this time braking a little bit less on the curb to not bottom out, and we keep it clean, and we automatically find a 10th and a half. So a very good first sector, and up on Russell by over a 10th as we plunge through the lefts and rights into turn 8. Checkered flag drops. This time we do get the apex. And are we going to get the exit? Yes, we do, and we find a chunk more time. Down to turn 9 into 10. Again, there was a mistake here last time. This time we keep it nice and tidy, nice and clean. Good exit, and we're up by 4 tenths now. So this puts us into the high 28s, which could be very interesting. Checkered flag has dropped, and we're now P11. And this time everyone has finished their laps a bit earlier. So we're now going to be the last car to finish a lap in this session. So we're nearly through. We just need to find a little bit more time. We're currently up on Hamilton by half a tenth. So this is looking good. Hamilton 28.9, and we, with this advantage, are looking at a 28.8. So this looks good. At the final corner, we find even more time, and up to the line. DRS open. Is it Q3? Yes, it is. P9, and we make it comfortably by 4 tenths of a second. Alonso has a 5th place grid drop for the race as well, so we'll see if that affects our final position for the grid. But out of nowhere, a huge surprise. Q3, not just Q2, but Q3 in our very first race. The car is working beautifully, and we've got a decent setup, and everything is working well.
Okay, the guys have found a leak in one of the coolant lines, so we're patching that up as we speak. Hold tight for now until we've got everything checked over.
Now Q3 had a bit of an issue with the car. Also, we only have 1 fresh set of tyres left. I want to keep tyre compound number 2, which has 5% wear for the race in case I need a soft. So we're going to go for just a single flying lap in Q3 and hope we can make it count. Wow, what a lap. A 1:28.3. We've done a 28.8 in Q2. So we have done the absolute maximum this car can do in terms of pace. That was a very, very, very good lap. It felt perfect. So no complaints, kept it together. And, you know, overall, I don't think I could have got Hamilton. That was a bit too far to find another 10th. So I think we maximised the result, and that is exactly what matters the most. Leclerc, Verstappen in a different postcode pace-wise, they look very strong. And Alonso P10, who has got a 5-place grid drop. So I think we can actually get some decent points in the race. Usually our race pace is better than our qualifying pace. So I don't see no reason why realistically on pace, you know, we could kind of mix it up with possibly up to George Russell in P4, but that could be wishful thinking. Either way, guys, let's get into the race.
Months of rumour and speculation all come to an end today as we return to racing for the opening event of what promises to be an enthralling season. Welcome along then to round 1 of this year's Formula One World Championship. We go racing today around the 3.36 miles of the magnificent Bahrain International Circuit with 15 corners and 2 good passing opportunities into turns 1 and 4. Keep an eye out for drivers locking the front left tyre into the tricky braking zone of turn 10. It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Max Verstappen put in a fantastic lap yesterday and he'll start from pole position. And it's Charles Leclerc in P2. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Sainz, Russell, Perez, Norris, Hamilton, Martinez, Oscar Piastri, Gasly, Ocon, Albon, Bottas, Stroll, Fernando Alonso, Tsunoda, Magnussen, Hulkenberg, Joe, Ricciardo, Sargent and Liam Lawson. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track. A new season then, a clean slate where anything could happen. Anthony Davidson is with me today as once again we get another year of Formula One underway.
We're into those tense few minutes before the first race then. Everyone's a little bit nervous about reliability. They haven't been running in the hot, turbulent wake of other cars in practice, and they've not been pushing at 100% for long durations. Let's hope no one has to deal with any nasty surprises.
The season opener, P8 on the grid, and hopefully we can convert into points, which I'm hoping for, and hopefully we get the season off to a good start. Now, I'm not going to lie, I don't really have a goal or a position in mind. I think we could fight for a top 6, but I don't want to get too ahead of myself. Now, the pace in qualifying was excellent. The car was brilliant to drive. Genuine surprise. It actually felt really, really good. So for the race, we're going to keep it very simple and go for the one stop. The medium to hard tyre seems to be the order of the day. I think we shouldn't have any big trouble with this one. So yeah, we'll keep it straightforward. We won't get too complex on strategy. And yeah, fuel-wise, 55 kg, a little bit more than practice just to be safe. Again, as we kind of learn and understand the car, we can maybe take a bit more of a risk on that front, but this should be fine. So yeah, I'm kind of hoping for a nice, straightforward race, really. I think we should have the pace. So let's see how it goes. Either way, guys, like the video. Let's try and smash over 1,250 likes, maybe. That could be ambitious, but let's give it a shot. And again, subscribe if you're enjoying the video so far. So everyone seems to be on mediums, so it's going to be fairly straightforward. Maybe those outside the top 10 could be on softs, maybe trying a 2-stop, or maybe starting on hards. Either way, first grid lineup of the year. Hopefully we get a good race start, and we can cook. Let's line her up. And there we go. My team is back. Lights are on. And away we go. Bit of wheel spin, but it's a really good start. We jump Norris. Hamilton gets back in front in the second phase. We're going to be a little bit mindful on the inside line here as Piastri goes through on the outside line. Going to turn across Norris there and get P8 locked in as we race up to turn 4. I have no idea how we're going to hold up on the straights, but early signs look not very promising as we slice under Checo, and we're going to get the run on Piastri. Side by side into the downhill section. We're going to leave some space. Around the outside we go. And that is a world-class move up into P6. What a start from Hamilton as well, by the way, up to P4 in the end from P9 or P7 I think it was. Either way, great start from a 7-time champion. Now then, can we compete? Can we hold on to this? This is going to be interesting. Long race, another 28 laps to go. Let's see how the car holds up. Already you can see Piastri and the arrow just very prominent, so putting pressure on in a big way. We may well go backwards in the race, it would not surprise me. In the straights you can see we're lacking a bit as Piastri just got momentum there, so we're not going to fight too hard. Again, we're going to play the long game, play the smart game. Perez also will be very quick and hard to stop. Well, let's see, we can maybe re-overtake Piastri here, although Perez is going to get involved. You can see we're lacking a bit of straight line speed. So even though we praised the engine department, we're a little bit down, so that could also be down to setup, to be fair, so I won't quote or, you know, throw insults too soon. But yeah, either way, this is okay. I'm happy with this. We just got to try and stay in the race, stay in DRS, and be sure that we're in the mix by the time the pit stop phase arrives.
DRS is being enabled this lap. We can use DRS when you're within 1 second of the car ahead and in the DRS zone.
We're in the very high 32s, but crucially, we have DRS, and it's a nice little train up ahead, so I welcome that. We've done good here. Let's see now if we can hold on. I've also not burned too much battery considering the circumstances and the lack of straight line speed, but let's see if we can hold on. Fuel's perfect. We are not burning or gaining any fuel per lap, so we're probably going to sit around 0.3 the whole race. Okay, so interestingly, Perez is probably going to try to drop us. I am trying to not use too much battery. Perez now putting pressure on Piastri, who has lost DRS on the Mercedes cars, who are running in tandem. Same goes for the Ferraris up ahead as well. We are not saving battery right now, so we're going to be managing battery the whole race. So I've just got to try and be smart and try not to use it and save as much as I can for the final sector and the straights. Okay, so out of battery. We may get dropped out of DRS very soon here. The Mercs are battling. Perez pressuring Piastri here. Trying to brake late to stay within DRS, but I'm not sure if we're in anymore. No, we're not. So Norris could be pressuring soon and knocking on the door. Now with the Mercedes cars battling, Piastri has caught back up. I think Piastri's actually not too bad pace-wise, but just lacks a little bit. Perez unable to pass. I'm actually going to tactically let Lando Norris go here. We've got a healthy gap over Ocon, so we're only forfeiting a position, but it will keep us in this fight, and it will probably allow me to save some battery, which is going to be really important. So we'll let Lando go. Again, we'll not fight it. Playing the long game here. I'll take points. I mean, I'll take a P9, I'll be honest. So let's just try and stick with it. Piastri and Perez battling away, and Perez goes through. So as long as these battles ahead continue, we can fight this race. Let's see what Lando's got pace-wise. Let's see how he gets on. Starting to struggle now on rear tyres. Also seems like Perez has remembered that he's driving a Red Bull, so he's now pressuring Mercedes. Piastri struggling to hold on to the back of those three, so it may well be us versus the McLarens in this one. So far we're holding on nicely to Norris, and also I'm seeing the AI start to struggle, which is going to help us out on this game. Generally I seem to drive better when there's tyre wear, as the AI seem to have more issues coping with it. So now's our time to try and charge the batteries up. I think the hard tyre could be better for us maybe. Back in there, really starting to slide away and give up a little bit. This is good though, we're building a gap over the cars behind. They're battling quite heavily for P10, so this is going to help us out.
Some information on Sargent. Right, they've got a serious car issue. It looks like they're retiring.
First retirement. Seems like no safety car though, which I don't mind. Again, we've got that gap behind, so I'd rather keep it that way. Okay, now I'm sweating, trying to keep up. I'm trying not to burn the batteries too much, but Lando's cranking it up, and so are the rest of the AI ahead. We're really pulling away now from the cars behind, so we're getting a gap out, but we've got to stay in this DRS. The rears are getting very loose now. 56 brake bias is on the limit. I don't really want to go towards the front because we're going to struggle pace-wise, but I've got to manage the drifting. All of a sudden, we've managed to catch back up and actually keep up quite easily. Verstappen is the first one to pit onto mediums, so soft medium strap for Verstappen by the looks of it. The Mercs have been battling again. That's brought Piastri and Perez back into play, so kind of hoping for a 4-way scrap, and that would, you know, cost some time, and maybe me and Lando can get back into it.
Green flag.
Hold the phone. Yellow behind. On the pit straight. Alfa Romeo. Joe, I think it is. We'll get confirmation shortly. This could be interesting. Right about the pit stop phase, having a safety car or VSC now. Visually, you can see we're catching the cars ahead at the minute. This would be interesting. Pit stop phase time. Joe out. But no safety car. Bit of a moment there. Again, losing time. Going to have to use some battery.
Okay, the pit window's open, so let's box this lap. Box this lap.
Right, big battle ahead. The Mercs going at it. Piastri involved, and so is Perez. Oh my god, that was a big one. Definitely not the ideal way into the hairpin. Right then, we're going to stop. We are not going to extend. We'll stick to the plan. We may undercut one of the McLarens and one of the Mercs here, so this could be interesting and get ourselves in the fight even more. Nice clean entry, no speeding. Now we just have to nail it. Perez might get held a bit by me. Hamilton's going to get held by me quite badly. Let's see, here we go. First stop of the season. Oh, it's a bad one, there's a mistake. 4.7, that is costly, that could hurt us quite badly. We may just come out in traffic because of that.
That was our last stop, no more scheduled pit stops, let's go.
That's going to cost us with Ricciardo. We'll get DRS though, which is good, but we're not going to have tyre temp to pass him. So that may hurt our race now. Let's see if we can clear Ricciardo. Gonna have to push in this out lap and hope for some AI battles elsewhere. Oh, the first stop of the season, man. I can't believe that's cost us. Down the inside we go on Ricciardo, but we've lost 3 seconds to Norris. Gonna have to use the battery here to push. We can still undercut Piastri and Russell and get in the fight. So Gasly in the pits. I've used up all the battery, so this is it. I think we've unfortunately lost contact because of that bad stop.
Liam's coming in for his stop now.
I'll try and latch onto Piastri on cold tyres, but I think we're still too far to get close enough. We may need them to battle. We might rejoin at some point down the line if I can stay close enough. Right, so I'm going to do my own race now. The key thing is to try and finish P9 and beat Bottas and Alonso. So if they drop back to us, good. If not, I don't really care. We're just going to focus on ourselves. We couldn't do much there. That was out of our hands. We got unlucky, so let's just focus and get these points wrapped up. Obviously, I'll try and push and not to fall back too much so I can maybe get back in, but I'm not too optimistic.
Okay, Bottas behind. Okay, so the gap to the car behind is 12.2 seconds. Okay, they're on fresh hards. Their tyres are 3 laps old. Time last lap was a 1:32.5.
We're quicker than Bottas. We're pulling away, even without DRS. So this pace is pretty legit. It's just the top 8 are pretty quick. I will admit the car feels lovely to drive on these tyres. It feels much better than mediums. Also the fuel burning off I think helps. This car seems to feel a bit better with a bit less weight in it. But yeah, positives to take for sure. Now we just got to hope the car holds on, get to the finish and get these 2 points on the board. Now they're battling a little bit. We actually matched Lando on this lap, pace-wise. Not that we're going to catch, obviously it's impossible, but it's what I was hoping to happen like 5 laps ago. Verstappen wins the opener. Dominant race. I'm trying to push on this front lap to see what I can do pace-wise, but Lando got dropped out of DRS range and I've been faster than him in the last 3 laps or so, so it goes to show we did have pace, but losing the DRS was unfortunately the undoing of our race, but still, it's a great first weekend. Really good qualifying, really good race, and we can build on this. This was better than I thought.
Okay, pick up rubber and bring it home.
The Red Bull team are ready and waiting to celebrate a thoroughly deserved win. Well, Anthony Davidson, a resounding victory today, but what set them apart from the rest?
I feel like consistency was probably the key today. There's being quick, and then there's being quick lap after lap after lap. If you can do that, you can capitalise on other people's errors without making many of your own. And that's an approach that can push you a long way up the field.
The drivers are en route to the podium as we speak. What a fantastic win for the Red Bull team. They performed exceptionally today, keeping us firmly on the edge of our seats throughout the entirety of the race. Congratulations to everybody at the team.
Right, so excellent first race. You can tell looking at the fastest laps that we just lacked a little bit of pace compared to the others when it mattered the most, but overall we managed to kind of make up for it in other areas. So P9, a couple of points in the opener, very good stuff. Verstappen wins and also gets the extra point. Elsewhere, pretty straightforward. Hamilton with a great race up to P3, really good drive from him. Sainz P2, Leclerc drops to P5, both McLarens in the points, and just a quick one on Liam Lawson, who finished in P20, last on track ahead of the retirements. So yeah, hopefully Liam can improve as the season goes on. But yeah, just a quick browse at the standings. So obviously drivers, the same as the results, but the constructors were P5. And we are ahead of Aston Martin, Alpine, and Alfa Romeo, so good start. We'll see how long it lasts. Maybe we might get a reality check at some point, but Jeddah next. We'll see if we can hopefully continue the momentum and make it work. Guys, leave a like on the video. Let's try and smash over 1,250 likes. That's going to be the target for this one. Subscribe. Again, I can't stress that enough. Please subscribe if you're new. Help me out. Reach the 100k mark. As always, a big shout out to the members for supporting the channel. As always, check out the 2 videos on screen. And I'll see you guys next time for round 2 at Jeddah.